Yeah, PlayStation really fucks up a lot lately. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another new video. Today I wanted to talk about PlayStation and the mistakes they've made over the last couple of years. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down and tell me why you didn't like it. Now, I want to start talking about the most recent events, like the Bloomberg article by Jason Schreier, who is a well-known journalist with a lot of industry insights. I really like his investigative reports, he's doing a good job. In his latest investigative report, he wrote about the mistreatment of smaller studios in the PlayStation family. The Visual Art Service Group, for example, is a support studio within Sony. They help out with animations, art, graphics, and so on. You get the picture. Anyway, some people in this support studio, including the director Michael Mumbauer, wanted to form a new PlayStation studio in order to get more creative control over their own game projects. In my opinion, only natural. Many studios want only to start out as support studios in order to grow and someday make their own games. They wanted to make a slow and more safer start, so they've decided that they pitched something to Sony that would expand on already existing franchises. Sony has to greenlight projects, and therefore devs have to pitch something that isn't a high risk for Sony. A low budget and a good outlook that the game will succeed are necessary, especially when you want to form a new studio. Anyway, they first wanted to remake Uncharted 1, but it was more complicated than expected, so they've decided to go with a Last of Us remake. Really, with all the franchises Sony has, they've decided to go with a remake of The Last of Us. It doesn't need a remake. I don't get it. Why not remake Sly Cooper or, I don't know, Jack and Dexter? But no, they have to remake The Last of Us. The small group started to develop this remake, but Sony never truly acknowledged the studio's existence. Must have been a pretty pain in the ass. They didn't get enough money, no resources, and not even a name. I mean, come on. This just shows that Sony didn't give a shit. They actually were worried because of the given circumstances. Obviously, I mean, everyone would be worried if your company would treat you like that. And under all these circumstances, they still kept working on the project till they had a polished prototype. By the time Sony got a new head of PlayStation Studios, Herman Hulst, who thought that this project was just too expensive. The budget was much higher than the budget from other remakes. I don't know if they knew how much it cost to make the other remakes, but yeah, it is stupid to ask for a higher budget, considering that they want to start a new studio. They had to play their cards safer, you know? According to the article, they needed a higher budget because, well, they wanted to build a brand new graphical engine for PS5, but maybe they should have tried to reduce the scope of a remake and also develop it on PS4. I know the PS4 has a remaster. Generally, I don't get why The Last of Us needs a remake. Of course, Hulst wasn't convinced. I can completely understand that. And still they were allowed to continue. But just when they thought that they could enter full production, they needed to help with the development of The Last of Us Part 2, which had a lot of problems during development. I will get to that in a bit. As soon as the development on The Last of Us Part 2 was finished, Sony sent out some people from Naughty Dog to help with the remake. Funnily enough, more and more Naughty Dog staff joined the project till the project was taken over by Naughty Dog, and the small team from Visual was again the support studio. This is a real bitch move from Sony. They got screwed big time. It is especially weird to me that Sony wants to support Naughty Dog so much. I think Naughty Dog is the worst studio within PlayStation, especially how they treat their employees. I mean, their reputation was so bad that they couldn't hire a new game animator. Instead, they needed to hire a movie animator for The Last of Us Part 2. Imagine that. Also, I know some of you might disagree, but in my opinion, The Last of Us Part 2 is a terrible game. The story and the storytelling are the worst I've seen in a long time. Most of the visual art studio top staff who worked on the remake left for obvious reasons, and yeah, now the remake is still in development, only that Naughty Dog is the lead studio. What a shame. I feel sorry for Mumbauer and his team, but that's the way Sony handles things from now on. Something similar happened to Bend Studio. They are the people who made Days Gone. Overall, Days Gone received mixed reception, but as far as I know, only because of a buggy launch. Overall, I've heard mostly positive things about this game. I will definitely check it out now that it is a free PS Plus title. Bend Studio wanted to develop a sequel on Days Gone, and I know many fans actually want Days Gone too. Unfortunately, that will not happen. Maybe sometime in the future, but not with the original creators. They left because Sony wanted to turn Bend Studio into another support studio. You know, normally parents shouldn't have a favorite child, or at least they shouldn't show that they have a favorite child. PlayStation, however, does the exact opposite with the PlayStation family. Partly I can understand them, but they take it too far. One team at Bend Studio should support Naughty Dog with a multiplayer title, and the other one should develop a new Uncharted game supervised by Naughty Dog. Higher leads of the studio who pitched Days Gone 2 were pissed, again for obvious reasons, and yeah, they left the studio. Many people at Bend Studio feared that they would get absorbed by Naughty Dog, and that's why they didn't want to continue the development of the Uncharted project. Sony granted them their wish last month. At least one good deed. Same can be seen with their Japan studio. Sony doesn't want to develop games that are only successful in Japan. I get it, but some games from Japan studio were also successful in the West, like the first Gravity Rush. I know it wasn't a big success, but it was enough to make a sequel. I think with a higher budget they could have made some really good games, which would also be appealing to some Western fans. The Japan studio is now also only a support studio, and again many well-known people left, like the original creator of Silent Hill. Sony is throwing so many talented developers away. It just baffles me how they can make decisions like that. I got the PS4 mainly because I wanted to play nice Japanese games like Bloodborne, Persona, Metal Gear Solid 5, which turned out to be disappointing. But it seems like Sony is abandoning the Japanese market more and more. Even the PS4 exclusives are not as diverse as they used to be. At the beginning of last gen we got Killzone, Bloodborne, Gravity Rush 2, and now we get all these cinematic games with an over-the-shoulder camera angle or open world games. And with Sony's approach, future games will probably even have less variety. Most of the PlayStation games are open world games as of right now, and honestly, most open world games aren't good. Sony is making one bad decision after another, like the closure of the PS Vita, PSP and PS3 stores. There are so many games exclusive to these platforms which we will probably don't get any access to, especially games from indie studios. Many of them aren't able to port their games onto another platform because they don't have the money. But Sony showed again that they didn't give a shit. Only some bigger development studios were warned about this. You may be thinking nobody is buying PS3 games anymore, and yes, that's true. But the PS Vita is still an important platform for some indie devs. Many of them are currently developing new games for the PS Vita. Some of them have cancelled their PS Vita ports, and others are rushing to release, like the studio, Spooky Squid Games. Where do they come up with these names? I for one will think twice if I should buy a game digitally. Everything Sony does at the moment is the exact opposite of what Microsoft tries to achieve with Xbox. They are focusing on many studios and giving them their creative freedom, and they don't try to turn them into support studios. Sony on the other hand is forcing devs to help with games they don't even want to work on. It is too early to determine whether Microsoft's strategy is good. I mean, they need to make good games, and as of right now they haven't made many. That's everything for today's video. I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter in the comments below. Thanks for watching, bye.